All right, people of faith, let's take another walk. Let's talk on the disbelief in the Bible and why I guess the miracles or the acts that was done that was performed is almost unbelievable at this place and time. One reason that I would throw out there is because the person can't see it, not naturally. Their soul can't even draw up the imagination towards it. It can't even picture it. So in other words, um, there's a guard there, and it's like a let's call it a power or a principality. There's something there that's preventing the person from being able to see past the natural and go into the supernatural. Now it could be that that's by God order, or that's by a person rendering themselves over to Satan, which would be the same thing. They're not allowed to trespass over into we would consider that holy ground. This go here. A person asked me, they said, "How come you don't show your face on the video?" And I said, "Well, if I were to say what I had to say is more important than the person, than the visual of the person saying it, they would disagree. They would say, well, we want to know where it's coming from. Why? Because they need to see the source for the sake of what? Fear. That fourth wall is the guard. It's the prevention from going over to the other side, which means to go past what you see. And what you see is natural. That's by the five physical senses. That alone will stop you from crossing over to seeing past or going to the other dimension. The spiritual dimension. The natural dimension is okay. God had made provisions inside the natural realm. But for the individual that do or that would like to go over to the other side and not to stay there, but just to experiencing what it's like to be in God's presence, they will have to leave the natural. So it's like telling a person to pick up a Bible and to literally go. You're when you're picking up the Bible, you are literally going to the other side because there's no natural physical evidence of what they did. Let's say, for example, Noah's Ark or Jesus on the cross or Moses parting the Red Sea, Elijah being put up in a fiery chariot. There's no physical examples here. There's no footage. There is no evidence of that, right? So you literally have to go to the other side, which would be leaving the natural, everything that you know, and you will have to go over to the spiritual plane and everything that you don't know. In other words, you haven't been granted access to go over there because you haven't paid well, actually, you are in debt to sin. You are, as long as you are in debt to sin, you cannot see the other side of I guess, the other side of the reality or another dimension, which will be considered the holy dimension. So this is the reason why I come, well, it just come to me now that why a person really don't really come in agreement with the belief of the Bible. And of course, you could have theology and religious and traditions and type, you know, make that a factor. But the to basically to remove all that would be physical evidence that the events of what the Bible happened or has happened or how they happened. The best way to find out that out is you will have to be able to have access to go over to the other side to see it. It's like of a loved one that passed on. Like, how can you see them when you're on this side? And they literally could be right in front of you. Now, if they were to say your name, and you'd be like, I hear something, but you don't see them, you get freaked out. Unless you can get past what? The fear and then you can embrace where they are. All right. Well, all right, people of faith, you are the blessed. Let's be the blessing. Let's keep walking.